Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the Kiln Restaking Rendez-Vous. Today, we have Miguel Prada, and Miguel Prada is going to be talking to us about Nektar Network, one of the few competitors to Edgar R that exists today. Miguel, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. Thank you very much. And thank you for inviting me here to be part of this episode.
Yeah, super excited to do this. You are the first guest that is not linked to the Edgar R ecosystem. And, we're really hoping that this podcast goes like much further than just like one restaking protocol. Like we think like restaking is going to be like a primitive, not only on ETH, but on many different chains. So we were very, very happy to have you on today. To kick things off, like, could you just introduce us? Like, what's your background and what led you to work in the world of crypto?
Sure. So, my background is what they call in Spain telecommunication engineering. Even though I specialize in microelectronics as well, hardware security models, cryptography. So I entered into blockchain around 2013, 14, and it was mainly on a startup weekend event where a friend of mine told me, like, do you know this thing about Bitcoin? And I was surprised. Oh, what is this? This is something about the deep web. What is it really happening? Dig deeper, and then I realized that it was super exciting. The possibilities of the technology could be brutal. I started to follow on blockchain system, but didn't really give the step to start working on blockchain full time as I did later. So this whole path started with IBM research, where I was working after my PhD here in Switzerland. And they invited me to be part of the team. I was happily working there. But at some point, I decided that I needed a change. I wanted to work on our own project. We saw a lot of opportunities on DBT, liquid staking, and now restaking. So we gave the step together with another colleagues from my region there in Spain. And we started launching what it was at the beginning, Diva. And now we are launching this project of restaking as something that we see can provide a lot of value to the ecosystem. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, and you just said it. And we're going to be talking about Nektar Network in a couple of minutes, but I would love to have your vision on why you started working on Diva. Like, and for those who don't know, like, Diva is a liquid staking protocol that uses DVT, and maybe you can also explain to us what DVT is.
Sure.
On Ethereum. I'd love to have your vision there. Like, why do you think that this LST DVT was needed in the ecosystem?
Sure. Yeah, so we have been always very ETH maximalist, to be honest. We have been involved in Ethereum since the very beginning. I've been very close to the community, participating in the DevCons and so on. So we wanted to build something that contributed to Ethereum first and foremost. Like, we are part of this. We want to protect Ethereum. And we saw a need, given the centralization of all the liquid staking and the staking in general, we saw a need for a liquid staking protocol that was really decentralized, something that could really bring the staking from normal node operators, people that are at home that want to participate and bring decentralization to the ecosystem. So the idea started together with a friend, Edgar R from Dabnot. He had the initial idea of joining DBT with the liquid staking, and we started a hackathon with Lisbon in 2021. So we participated, didn't win anything, as is usually happening in the hackathons. But we thought that there was value here. So we continued with this project. Edu couldn't continue with it, unfortunately, because he was in many other businesses in parallel. But I formed this team, and we created a bigger team to develop the concept. And then, we raised some funds and started developing Diva. And what it does basically is that, you generally have the liquid staking layer that we all know. You deposit Ether. You don't want to care about how these nodes are being operated, how these validators are operating. So you just want to deposit and receive some yield, even though a fee is taken from you, which is perfect. But there are other people that also want to run nodes. They want to participate, earn higher yield. This is a concept that at the beginning was introduced by Rocket Pool, where you can have a share of a validator, right? So what we bring is the two sides, people that want to run nodes together with people that want to deposit Ether. we bring them together, but instead of creating validators centralized and controlled by a single entity that runs and operates the keys, every validator in Diva is created by a random set of people. So that way, you deposit some ethers, an event is triggered, you create a validator, and the validator is not run by a single person, but it's split like in pieces. So you basically run just share of the validator, and that allows many properties, like you have much more security and resiliency. So if one person goes down, doesn't matter, the validator will continue to perform well. So it provides this DVT technology coming from distributed validator technology. Is just that it distributes the validator across many people. So if it fails, if something goes wrong, it continues running.
Very interesting. And yet, this distributed validator technology is different from, like, let's say, like other liquid staking provider, because it does not rely on one single validator, but on many, like every validator relies on many different node operators. But we could also say that, for example, in the context of Lido, Lido is not being run by just one operator. Lido is being run by between 30 and 40 operators. So there is that type of distribution there. It maybe does not give the same level of decentralization at the validator level, but it's still not like one entity.
Yes. So there is a key difference here. One, there are a few questions that people should always ask about a liquid staking protocol or liquid staking protocol, which is, can I join the network as an operator permissionlessly without asking anybody? The answer is yes or not. That will depend. In Lido, this answer is no. There is a list, permissioned, that needs to be approved, and so on. So since there is no collateral, there is no skin in the game for the operators. You need to be approved, and therefore it's not a permissionless protocol on the operational side. It is on the staking side and not on the operational side. And the other question is, when creating the validator, is always the same set of people the ones running the validator, even when using DVT? The answer is yes. It's really not decentralized because you have just the same cluster. So it doesn't matter if you have 5 people, each one from 1,000 Ether running 200 validators, or if you have 5 people, all of them using DVT, and then you have the 1,000 validators divided into, again, the 5 of them. So it's still the same thing. It's the same people. It's still permissioned and closed. The difference with Diva is that everything is random. It could be anything at any point in time. So when you create a validator, the operators of those validators are completely chosen at random in any point in time. Meaning that if you want to do any kind of collusion, any kind of attack, you will need to collude with virtually all the network in order to be able to control all the validators, because no one controls a full validator with the same set of people. Could it happen that is really controlling the same set of people more than one validator? Yes, but it's probabilistically very, very rare. So yeah, that's the main difference that exists in Diva, this randomization of validator.
Gotcha. And yeah, to discuss a bit, to go back to what you were saying, how does, so you explained a bit what DVT and like what the different trade-offs that DVT protocols and liquid staking protocols were taking. Can you explain, like specifically, for example, with like other major DVT solutions like SSD and Obo, how Diva differs?
Yeah, so we have envisioned Diva at the time as a vertically integrated thing. So the DVT is natively in the liquid staking. So everything is one. We don't envision the DVT without the liquid staking. So it's all tied together. Obo and SSV are only as DVT technology. They are not a liquid staking technology. They are used by liquid staking protocols, but as a plugin. Therefore, they are tools for node operators and for protocols that want to run their operations on a more decentralized way. So they want to run, like they want to manage their DevOps a bit more decentralized. That's completely fine. So what you do in Obo is they have like a middle layer that basically every validator that is created via their clusters. And something similar happens, but on the validator layer on SSV. But you don't require any liquid staking protocol. They are agnostic to the liquid staking protocol. while we have just a fully vertically integrated protocol where the DVT is a key component of every validator created in Diva.
Gotcha. Okay, so I think now the audience has a bit more context. We'll get into like the most interesting questions. What is the process for a DVT protocol like the one you're building to evolve into a restaking hub?
So what is the process for the whole DVT to be used in restaking? Know how? Yes.
So for your own team, like why did you make the decision to make that move?
Yeah. So Diva was, I think we believe it was a very valuable technology. We have been building this, in my case, for 2.5 years, a little bit more. So we believe that the technology was sound and it was like almost finished. So we are now in the process of launching the Diva protocol. But it's not sufficient. As you can see in the market, liquid staking protocols becoming a commodity. So even if we make the most successful, biggest, more challenging, technologically advanced, anything you want, liquid staking protocol, it doesn't mean it's going to be sufficient. You need to have something else. And we believe that leveraging via a new protocol, Nektar protocol, what we built on Diva, we could have built Nektar on top of any other protocol, on top of Lido, on top of Rockpool. It could have been built on top of anything. But of course, we believe that the best layer to be built this on top of is Diva. So we built as another project this Nektar protocol, leveraging the restaking, and by doing so, it has additional benefits the way we design Nektar. For instance, the DVT has very beautiful properties. Like if you have an operator that is misbehaving, you can expel them or penalize them, even though it's not cooperating, because the rest of the cluster is able to expel them from the set. So this doesn't happen when you have a restaking protocol where each validator is run by an operator. Because if they don't want to cooperate, they can keep the Ether hostage on the consensus layer and never exit until we have at least the EIP 7002, right? So these kind of properties allow for a more customizable and a much more powerful restaking protocol. We believe that Diva was the key choice. Of course, we are a bit biased on the selection of the liquid staking protocol for Nektar, but how not to,
Great. Makes a lot of sense. Could you just remind for the audience, like just give us like a zoom out of like what is actually restaking, to put it in just in layman's term, like what are the different parties involved in restaking? There are different parties involved. Who are they and what are their goals?
Sure. The way I like to see restaking is that if many people are familiar with the Cosmos ecosystem or the Polkadot ecosystem, this is like bringing delegated proof of stake on top of Ethereum, where you have a layer of people that deposit Ether as collateral, create validators, and that centralized amount of security into certain contracts, into certain operators, allow you to secure other chains, other protocols, other services, other things that you're going to launch. And these other things are the AVSs. That's why the name Active Validator Services. They are things that validate, services that validate stuff. In Cosmos, it generally has been the other chains, like chains connected to the IVC. So that's why people use the Cosmos SDK and so on. In Ethereum, it will be something else. But the important thing is that they all depend into a single security single security capital that is deposited into an operator. And this dependency allow you to first bootstrap your protocol. If you are launching a new protocol, like a new chain, it allows you to bootstrap and give security and credibility to your protocol because you have a lot of real capital, real ethers backing your protocol. It allows you to bootstrap and attract more people to your network because you are able to gain the network effect from all the ecosystem. And it allows you to attract operators. So when you want to bootstrap a new network, you don't have operators, you don't know how to get them. By being part of this ecosystem, you can easily bootstrap all of these things at once.
Great. Okay, so very, very, like you explained it, I think very, very, very well. Now, I guess my follow-up question is, what are the design choices that Diva Nektar, Nektar made to build this restaking hub, and how do they differ from other ways to do restaking? The main one being AigenLayer, but we've also seen a lot of competitors raise money, announce their launch, and even people building restaking or staking protocols on other chains, like what Babylon is doing for Bitcoin, for example.
Yeah. So yeah, we have made certain different decisions compared to AigenLayer and others. So the main ones have been, for instance, this is one of the most shocking ones. We are not accepting any asset. We are not being a multi-asset risk-taking protocol. Why so? Well, when you accept any kind of asset, you are basically saying I accept any type of token. And this is like what happened when you collateralize stuff with things that may or may not have value. In Ethereum, we know and we agree all the ethers are valuable. But what if the USDT? What if the wrap Bitcoin? Not the Bitcoin, because that's different. But what if the Bitcoin, which is in the end the representation of a promise of a Bitcoin, loses its value because the company backing them just go bankrupt or something like that? Well, then all that collateral or that backing goes to zero. So we believe that mixing all these risks is really complex, and we prefer to always keep the risk separated. So if you want to just do liquid staking, you want to know what is your risk. If you want to do risk taking, you want to know what is your risk. So that's why we keep with the same philosophy of everything integrated only with a single thing, everything very clean. If you want to do all things, you can do it, but on top with further risk. So in Nektar, every validator is created via Diva to simplify the risk. So you know that every validator has the same risk profile. Every ether, every deposit has the same risk profile because it depends on the DVT that is powering Diva. So we are unifying that part. Another addition that we are doing is on the AVS side. I know the AigenLayer has been working mainly with a lot of AVSs, trying to do a lot of zero knowledge, a lot of integrations, custom integrations. We are being more generic, and we are giving the voice to the AVSs. We believe that this is going to be a matter of numbers, of course quality as well, but bringing a lot of AVSs, bringing a lot of value to the network. So we want to give them the voice to decide how the slashing needs to be done, how all these criteria, because no one better than them knows how to penalize their network or their operators if they are misbehaving. So they need to have the tools and the capabilities of penalizing the operators if they believe that is misbehaving. We of course certain railways to guarantee that they are not just slashing at discretion without or if they becoming malicious or something like that. So there will be safeguards in case something happens. But yeah, they have the power to decide.
Okay, but yeah, you say the AVSs, but when I hear AVS, I also think about the restakers and of course the operators. Kiln is an operator. So I guess can we say that at the end of the day, it's the market that will decide relationship between rewards and slashing?
Yes, of course. Not only the market, but even just let's go basics to a single operator. When an operator decides to run a binary and say the collateral that people are depositing in me, my deposits, my risk-staked funds, I'm gonna guarantee this thing that I'm running with the trust that people put on me. They are also analyzing the risk and the reward of running such a binary, right? They need to decide if it's worth the risk. So when people deposit into that operator, when they risk-take into that operator, they need to also value, okay, is this Kiln that you guys are running this and this and this AVS, is it worth it to deposit on you? Because the rewards I'm going to extract from the AVS that you run together with the ethers that I deposit into you are going to be higher on risk-reward. So everything is about risk-reward in risk-taking, everything, including in this case, both for the selection of the operator's choice of the AVSs to be run and for the risk takers. Yeah.
Okay. And just to clarify something, so the operators choose the number of AVS and like the type of AVS that they want to secure, and then the risk takers, they opt into a specific operator strategy. Okay.
Exactly. So it works like that in Nektar. An operator can have more than one strategy, so you can have also a variety of strategies in which each one can opt in. So let's say you want to have only a ETH-only risk strategy, and you want to have an ETH plus this AVS risk strategy. So then you can mix in, and me as a risk taker could decide to deposit part in one with bigger risk, another part with lower risk, and I manage my portfolios based on the risk reward that I want to get. But I know what I'm risking and what I'm getting. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Just zooming out for an instance, take into account also like the liquid staking part. Does that mean that now I can interact with Diva and have a liquid, an LST, which would be Div, and also interact with the restaking hub? Does that mean that the end product of that is an LRT, or is that ETH locked?
People can build LRT on top of, that's the only thing we have enough, right? That's the only thing we are not building, LRTs. So we welcome and we are working closely with many LRTs to be part of Nektar. But yeah, if anybody deposits Ether or Div Ether into a contract of restaking, the LRT may issue them an LRT token, a representative of the Ether deposit into them. But yeah, that's part of the LRT's duties. Nektar provides the capabilities to do so, but we are not launching an LRT ourselves. Yes.
Makes sense. Interesting. And when it comes to timeline, we've been very excited about Diva for a long time, ever since you did that vampire attack on Lido's TVL a while back. I think it was in fall of 2023. When can we expect to start testing with Diva and Nektar on Testnet?
Very good question. So with Diva, you can already test stuff. We have a testnet running since August of last year. Of course, it has evolved. It has different phases, and we are preparing the last version of the testnet prior to the mainnet launch. So our target is to have everything ready by the end of July. We know it's very tight, the deadline, but we want to try to see if we can make it. And ideally, we want to launch Diva and Nektar by them. So that's mainly the timeline we have. The audits has been completed for the contracts and the client. But of course, we are working on the fixing based on the reviews that the auditors did. So all the part is done. Yeah, we want to polish and make sure that everything works correctly before mainnet, because the thing is that by being a protocol that we cannot control the operators, we cannot just stop it. It needs to work. There is no space for any kind of error or mistake. So it's a challenging task. I know that the when is the shitty question, but it's a hard one.
And Miguel, just out of curiosity, would it not have been interesting for you guys to, I would say, launch Diva, the LST part, before the restaking hub? My question is, why are you waiting to release both at the same time?
Right now, it's not the waiting. It's just that Diva needs a bit more time to be prepared, because, as I mentioned, we cannot stop the operators running the validators, because it's going to be purely decentralized and permissionless. So we want to make sure that works. And right now, we're still fixing some issues found on the audit. So the thing is that by serendipity, both things will be ready more or less at the same time. So we can just launch both things at the same time, just because in time it makes sense. Besides that, I think that given the current market, we have seen that, again, liquid staking has become a commodity. Right now, it makes more sense to just launch something that is much more like a compact on focus on Nektar. Diva will be a layer that is the one that really runs all the validators. But Nektar could be run independently, as we mentioned. We could have run this independently, and it's just that it coincides in time. It's not we are not waiting. We don't have it like Diva just waiting there without Nektar. Yeah, I wish Edgar.
Gotcha. And I guess my follow-up question is like, what is going to be next for the roadmap? So let's say that the testnet goes live in July. Do you already have a sense of when we're going to be able to be basically like preparing for mainnet? Are you planning to also onboard AVSs into the testnet phase and start testing for stashing and reward flows at the testnet phase? Are you going to are you going to maybe go faster to mainnet to attract the TVL early? What's your plan there?
Yeah, so our target is actually to launch as soon as possible. So there are slashings in Ethereum, but we won't have a slashing in Nektar at the launch time as any other protocol. Like, we all know by now that a slashing of AVSs is a complex topic. It's not something to be done quickly. It takes some time. So what we will launch will be the restaking protocol where AVSs can easily plug in, but there won't be a slashing enabled into the protocol at launch. And hopefully, by July is when we try to target. We have been already with testnets for a long time. That's why we believe that we have enough confidence on seeing that the network works in terms of latency and performance. Everything looks promising. We will launch a version hostkey that people can test before the mainnet launch, but it will be more like an iterative process, similar again to what happened in Cosmos, where you have always a testnet working with the next upcoming release to be deployed in mainnet. You test there. When you see that everything works there, you move that release to mainnet, and you keep like transferring the releases from testnet to mainnet. So we want to first launch testnet as, okay, everything is ready. Let's test it. Is it okay? If we feel comfortable, we launch it in mainnet, and we keep the releases on testnet until we transfer them to mainnet. So that would be the main flow.
Okay, interesting. And when it comes to your go-to-market strategy, you are not the only one in the restaking race, I would say, like as a hub. Eigenlayer has, I would say, like a clear headway, but since it hasn't launched stashing and rewards, we can really say that TVL is locked yet. What would be when you release your mainnet, like your speech first to the restakers to attract this TVL? Like, are you planning to have like an incentive program similar to what has done, like for example, on Eigenlayer in the past? And I guess same question goes for the AVSs that would build on top of Nektar.
Yeah, so right now, I believe we have already a points program that is being updated and changed depending on the things we are launching. There will be more news, if I recall correctly, this week. So yes, there will be incentives. We'll try to attract as many people to bid on us, not because we want to shield them, but because we believe that we can provide a lot of value to them. So if hopefully they think so as well, and they opt in to work with us. Regarding the incentives to attract AVSs, to do that and a more long-term future together with the slashings, that will depend on the community, I would say. Like we need to decide what is best. We need to talk to the AVSs. We need to talk to the restakers. We need to talk to I think it's not well understood how all of this plays out. It's not well understood how AVSs are gonna plug into restaking, but we wanna work with the AVSs to shape it together and have an answer for that. But
Gotcha, sorry, I cut you off. And what would you say, like, what would be like your top argument when you talk to an AVS? Would you say that it is I would say the freedom in design of the rewards and the slashing? Like, I would say the configurability of the entire system, that would be like the thing that makes Nektar better than competitors?
Yeah, we believe so. We believe that we don't want to be the ones dictating how your thing works. Also, because there is too much variability on the options that what an AVS can do. So we believe that the one that knows best is you as an AVS. Anybody that wants to build something on top should have all that freedom. Yeah, we believe that's powerful. I think that's the feedback we got from many people, is that that's something interesting. I guess that more people will start to do the same. Many other liquid staking protocols, probably, because we believe that's where the market is going to have the flexibility to give the slashing to the AVSs instead of controlling that ourselves.
Great. Closing in on this discussion, I would love to have like your long-term vision for what a restaking primitive can bring to an ecosystem. Do you think that like restaking was something that was clearly needed in the Ethereum space, and that clearly like the crypto space would have had another phase today if let's say like a restaking primitive was invented like 5 years ago? Like a lot of things that we usually hear is that, for me, like if a restaking hub had it been invented 5 years ago, like we would have seen like a lot less alt layer ones. How do you feel like restaking will impact the crypto ecosystem in the next like 5 to 10 years, for example?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think restaking could have brought a completely different picture here. Coming back to the well-repeated similarity with Cosmos, many people launched there because it was easier to launch something there. It was easier to just take the SDK, integrate. You were automatically connected through IBC to many other protocols. So this is what we believe restaking can bring to Ethereum, and it can provide a lot of value to the ecosystem. Now, will that have changed in the past? I think the market was focused on other topics. We passed by DeFi, we passed by NFTs. Infrastructure wasn't really something that many people were focused on. And whoever wanted to build something were building them in another layer, L1, as you mentioned, or in other blockchains just directly. So I think that maybe people would not have seen what this kind of technology can provide them in the past. I think this is the right time right now, where people want to build new innovative solutions and want to attract a lot of people to their protocol. So we believe this is the right time right now. Earlier would have been more difficult to get something like this working. But yeah.
Cool. Gotcha. And do you feel like what AVS use case are you most excited about? Are you most excited about like the decentralization that AVSs will bring in the how L2s work? Are you more interested in, I would say, more exotic use cases for AVSs? Like we've definitely seen AVSs doing some very interesting things, for example, with MPC technology and stuff like that. Like how various do you think the AVS space can be in the future?
Yeah, good question. I think the most valuable stuff that restaking can bring is just this ecosystem, all these things, and the scaling, as you mentioned, because it will allow the whole Ethereum to grow, and to grow in community, to grow in things built on top. And we all know the bigger the ecosystem, the more network effect it has, the better it has been for all Ethereum in general. So that's the one that I'm most excited about giving the possibility for any project to easily build on top of Ethereum without needing to think too much, so that you can really get something built on Ethereum easily. I think that will be the one that I'm excited. But on the geek side, I have always been a fan of multi-party computation. Obviously, we have in Diva multi-party computation via distributed key generation for all the validators. In particular, I love everything related to fully homomorphic encryption since a very long time. So I'm really eager to see if the speed up of the technology has it happened with the zero knowledge proofs will come also to fully homomorphic encryption. If so, the applications that this kind of technology will bring will be astonishing. So I'm really bullish on Zama and other people bidding on fully homomorphic encryption to bring this to the table. I think that will be great. That will be the next technological challenge and breakthrough if you've done well. But let's see. Still a question mark to see how it plays out.
Very interesting. We're definitely. I'm definitely close to some people in the Zama team, so it warms my heart that you mentioned them. I would say, like, closing question. What do you think generally about? I would say the competition in terms of risk-taking. How do you think it's something that's? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a winner takes most market? Do you think the different trade-offs in the way that they are set up enables for different application, different AVSs, and that means that different will survive, or is it a winner takes all market?
I think by now we set a statement quite clear in from us that when Lido was saying there is only gonna be one liquid staking, we said we're gonna build Diva and we believe in Diva. Still, we haven't, of course, like we need to launch, okay? We need to launch, but we believe in diversity of liquid staking. When people say there's only going to be one gig layer, it's going to be part of Ethereum. Say, okay, and now we see Caragon, now we see Symbiotic, and now we see us as well, right? So we have a variety of free staking layers. I don't believe anything in blockchain should be a single thing, not even on the protocols. Diversity is richness, and we have a lot of diversity in Ethereum clients. We have a lot of diversity in liquid staking. Why not having it also as well on restaking? Because each one of the restaking protocols is also providing different features and different capabilities. And that's not bad in a sense, because each one attacks a different niche on the market of different needs of different type of AVSs, of different builders that want to build with one type of feature or another type of feature. And that shouldn't be something that is one for all, because there is much more value to be provided, especially on the building capabilities, than just centralizing there because winner take it all. So I really don't believe in the winner take it all, because the market always proves that you can always be disrupted and have competition.
Does that mean that there is also space for other restaking hubs on other,
of course,
like Bitcoin, Cosmos?
Yes. In other layer ones, in Ethereum, anywhere, there is always a space for competition, and competition is what drives innovation and what drives trying to improve your protocol, trying to make everything better. Otherwise, you just comfortable with any competition, you don't improve, and then the users will pay that cost of not having the innovation or the improvement of the network until someone comes and does it. So innovation is something that always comes one way or another.
Fantastic. Well, Miguel, this was great to have this conversation with you. I really enjoyed it. Any closing thoughts for the audience?
Not really. I would just say, as usual, I know there are many haters of restaking. There are also many believers of restaking. As the famous sentence says, with great power comes responsibility. That's what the Spiderman Colban said. We believe so. I think it needs to be taken with care. There are risks on restaking, but there are also a lot of benefits. There is also a lot of value to be provided. So look at everything with care. Take a look at what are the risks, and if there is value, just is it permissionless, is it distributed, is this decentralized, what are the trade-offs, and analyze everything with care. So, but I think there is a lot of value, and I really appreciate that you invited me to talk about Nektar Network and to to be able to share with the people what we are building. So really exciting and really appreciate it.
It was our pleasure. Thank you so much for coming. And just to, before we finish off, like where can we send the audience to learn more about Nektar, Diva, maybe follow you on Twitter?
Yes, they can go to Nektar with K, Nektar.network, or the same in Twitter or X, Nektar Network, and they can read more or enter our Discord over there. So yeah, Nektar with K, Nektar Network, and we'll be there waiting for any questions and thoughts, feedback, complaints, anything that people want to share.
Amazing. Well, Miguel, thanks again for your time. You've been very generous with us. And to the audience, we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.